The soft clinking of silverware filled the cafe as Evelyn Hart, dressed in a crisp white coat and diamonds that caught the light, flipped through a stack of contracts. It was just another business lunch, until she heard laughter that didn't belong to her world. Across the room, Naomi Brooks, a waitress still in her apron, sat at a corner table on her short break, carefully spoon-feeding her blind daughter, Lila. The child's soft voice floated through the air. "Mommy, this soup smells like sunshine." A few customers smiled, but Evelyn's assistant leaned in and muttered, "Shouldn't the staff eat in the back?" Evelyn didn't answer. She couldn't look away from the care in Naomi's hands, the gentleness in her voice, the kind of love money could never buy. Naomi brushed a crumb from her daughter's cheek, whispering, "Someday, sweetheart, you'll see the world just like everyone else." For the first time in years, Evelyn felt something break through her polished composure, a single tear glistening at the corner of her eye. But when Naomi's boss stormed over and shouted, "Get her out of here," Evelyn's silence became something dangerous. The next morning begins like every other for Naomi Brooks, rushing to pack her daughter's lunch, humming to keep her calm while fixing her hair. Between night shifts and breakfast rushes, life is a careful balance of exhaustion and love. She kisses Lila's forehead, promising softly, "One day, baby, we'll go see the ocean for real." Meanwhile, Evelyn Hart sits alone in a mansion of glass and silence. She scrolls through her phone, messages from her teenage daughter unanswered again. On her desk, a framed photo of her late husband gathers dust beside untouched tea. Her life is immaculate, but empty, full of power, not peace. Back at the cafe, Naomi moves quietly between tables, every motion practiced, every smile rehearsed. When the cafe owner, Mr. Doyle, catches sight of her taking a moment to help an elderly guest, he snaps, "Customers pay to see smiles, not sob stories. You're not here to care, Naomi. You're here to serve." Naomi bows her head. "Yes, sir." Lila, hidden behind the counter during her mom's break, bites her lip, her small hands clinging to Naomi's apron strings. Across the room, Evelyn watches it all from behind her coffee cup. The sight stirs an old, painful memory, her own daughter's first public meltdown years ago, when Evelyn had shouted instead of holding her. She remembers her child's trembling lip, the look of betrayal. Something inside her aches. She stands suddenly, pushing her chair back and leaving her untouched coffee behind. And when Evelyn asked to speak with Naomi privately, the entire cafe went still. No one knew if mercy or judgment would follow. The entire cafe seemed to hold its breath as Evelyn Hart walked toward Naomi. Every heel click on the tiled floor made Naomi's heart pound faster. Evelyn stopped in front of her, voice calm but firm. "How long have you worked here?" Naomi fumbled for words. 2 years, ma'am. I'm sorry if I broke any rules. My daughter—" She glanced down at Lila, who gripped her hand tighter. Evelyn's expression softened. "You don't have to apologize for loving your child." Then Evelyn did something that shocked everyone. She knelt beside Lila's chair. "You must be very brave," she said gently. Lila smiled shyly. "Are you rich?" Evelyn chuckled, a sound that surprised even herself. "Sometimes, but that doesn't always mean I'm happy." Before Naomi could respond, Mr. Doyle, the cafe owner, stormed over, wiping his hands on his apron. "Miss Hart, I'm so sorry for this disturbance. She'll be disciplined, I promise." Evelyn's tone sharpened like glass. "You'll do no such thing." The chatter stopped. No one moved. Doyle froze, unsure how to respond. Evelyn slipped a business card across the counter toward Naomi. "Meet me tomorrow at 10 a.m. I have an offer for you." Naomi blinked, completely thrown off. "An offer?" Evelyn smiled faintly. "You'll see." Naomi hesitated, glancing at her daughter, at her trembling hands, at the stunned faces around her. Finally, she nodded. As she walked away, whispers rose among the waitstaff like wind in a church. What does she want with her? Was that an invitation or a warning? Naomi held Lila's hand tighter, unsure if she had just made the biggest mistake of her life or the start of something beyond her dreams. What would you do if you were there? Walk away from the chance of a lifetime, or trust a stranger with everything you love? But when Naomi showed up the next morning, the offer waiting for her wasn't a job. It was a miracle she didn't see coming. Naomi clutched Evelyn's card the next morning, heart racing as she stepped into a pristine glass building. Its sign read, "The Hart Children's Medical Foundation." She thought she'd been summoned for a job, but when she entered, a group of doctors waited, smiling kindly. Evelyn approached, radiant yet gentle. "You said you wanted your daughter to see the ocean," she said softly. "Let's make sure she can." Naomi froze. I don't understand." Evelyn knelt beside Lila again, her voice trembling slightly. "Sweetheart, how would you like to see your mommy's face for the first time?" Lila tilted her head, curious. "You mean, really see?" Evelyn nodded. "Really see." The doctors explained Evelyn had personally approved full funding for Lila's eye surgery through her foundation's Children's Vision Program. Naomi's hand flew to her mouth as tears streamed down her face. "Why?" she whispered. "You don't even know us." Evelyn's eyes softened. "Because you reminded me what love looks like, and what I almost lost chasing everything else." Lila hugged her mother tightly, whispering, "Mommy, what's happening?" Naomi smiled through her tears. "An angel, baby. An angel is helping us." Outside, sunlight spilled through the glass walls. Two women standing together, hands intertwined, their worlds no longer divided by wealth or pain. Share this if you believe compassion still has the power to rewrite destiny. But what happened 6 months later would prove love heals more than eyesight. 6 months later, the sound of waves filled the air, the kind of sound Naomi once described to her daughter, painting it in words she could only imagine. Now Lila ran along the shoreline, her small footprints chasing seagulls as she squealed, "It's so blue, Mommy! It's so blue!" Naomi laughed, tears streaming down her face, unable to speak, just watching her daughter see the world she had only dreamed of. Behind them, Evelyn stood barefoot in the sand, her designer heels abandoned, a rare, genuine smile softening her elegant face. She held Naomi's hand for a moment, not as a benefactor, but as a friend. Weeks later, Evelyn's estranged daughter, Clara, returned home from abroad. She met Naomi and Lila at the same cafe where it all began. Clara crouched beside Lila and said, "You helped my mom remember how to love people again." The cafe had changed too. Naomi now managed it, the once harsh owner gone. A small sign near the register read, "Heart and Home. Every coffee serves a child's vision." A donation box beside it overflowed with bills and coins. Kindness made visible. That night, Naomi tucked Lila into bed. The little girl whispered, "Mommy, she didn't just fix my eyes. She fixed our hearts." Naomi brushed her daughter's hair, smiling through quiet tears. From the doorway, Evelyn watched, her eyes glistening in the dim light. "She fixed mine too," Evelyn whispered back, before quietly closing the door. Outside, the wind carried the sound of the ocean, endless, healing, and full of promise. Subscribe for more stories where kindness changes everything, even the way we see the world. What if one act of compassion could restore more than sight? Could it restore hope itself?